to the Hutchison House. I'm Leah Marlene, and that's a true story. Another true story is that the MSNBC panics over Trump's transition. And no, he's not transitioning into another gender. Nonetheless, they would be happy if he did that. They'd probably accept him more. They're also going to panic if they ever saw me in this. And I'll assure you, MSNBC, no Muppets were harmed in the making of this coat. I'm just a little chilly. I'm wearing it. Okay, let's move right along and see Katie Phang explain to you how billionaire is spelled and how she can't believe that Trump continues to pick smart, educated, and successful people. They would rather see us destitute. They want people who are unsuccessful, people who are destitute to run the United States of America. They also want people who can just be pliable and controlled and manipulated, which is none of what Trump is picking, as you and I both know. But let's first check in with Katie Phang, because all of the MSNBC, all of the CNN hosts, they all have that same smug look, and they can't believe that he's picking authentic, genuine, inspired people that have been up to big things. Why in the world would billionaires want to help? She gives you a little spelling quiz.
Billionaires, that's with a B, now exercise in American politics. Currently, Donald Trump is building the wealthiest cabinet in history.
The election proved that democracy is pretty far down on people's priority list. Power comes from forging alliances and building coalitions and making room in those coalitions, not only for the woke, but also for the waking.
Not only for the woke, but for the waken. Thank you, Obama. I'm so glad that Obama is not in charge anymore. In a moment, you're going to also hear how Obama has been running things. He's going to project onto the Republicans and maybe you and me how he has been doing things for the last few years. And you can even watch him. As a behavior analyst, I want you to pay attention to how confounded he is, because he's like, oh God, this is what we're doing. See, they're famous for telling you exactly what they are doing. Watch Obama in this short clip.
There are going to be times potentially when one side tries to stack the deck and lock in a permanent grip on power, either by actively suppressing votes or politicizing the armed forces or using the judiciary, the criminal justice system to go after opponents. And in those circumstances, pluralism does not call for us to just stand back and say, well, I'm not sure.
Obama, that is exactly why Trump did not concede the election, which essentially he did. But he just wanted to challenge the election because you guys did all of that. You did all of that in the last election. You tried to in this election, but it was too big to rig. These people have lost their mind. Watch some of these clips because they're just hysterical. You'd think that you're watching a parody or Saturday Night Live. Sadly, this is actually news outlets. It's nuts.
It's designed to do is to sort of play a part. He sort of sees him as somebody that is going to be out there representing the ideal of masculinity in the military and sort of a radical shift in how we think about that role.
That's right. Donald Trump's depth on issues is not very deep. It's Fox deep. It's what he sees on Fox, what looks good to him, what sounds good to him. And for a lot of his base, the information that they take in comes from social media, from places like InfoWars.
I'm not sure.
No, Obama, we were totally sure. See, the problem is, for you anyway, Obama, the good news for the United States of America is that many people woke up. They woke up to the gaslighting. They woke up to you shaming all of us and thinking that if we don't vote for you, if we don't vote for Kamala, then we're racist. No, American people are smart, and they've decided to vote on policy this time. So no, we're not going for that anymore. Now let's hear how MSNBC tries to spin smart, successful people into being a negative thing. And Joy Reid, of course, she's like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe it. And of course, she tries to insult your intelligence and my intelligence because that's all they have now. They are spinning out of control. So all they have are insults. And I know I'm being a little catty right now, but my goodness, these people, it's ridiculous how they think of you and me. Listen to Joy Reid discuss how she thinks Trump, you, and I understand policy.
And so part of what Hegseth's role is designed to do is to sort of play a part. He sort of sees him as somebody that is going to be out there representing the ideal of masculinity in the military and sort of a radical shift in how we think about that role. And
Yes, it's a radical shift on how we've thought about that role for the last 4 years. Well, actually, probably not you and I. We probably are people who thought that it should be a strong military and have a strong presence. And yeah, masculinity is a good thing. Their attack on masculinity the past 4 years worked to an extent, but no more. Because yes, we are changing the look of things. Hegseth is a much better pick than the way the military has been looking. We need a Secretary of Defense that is strong. Look at how the military has been.
Pride. Happy Pride Month. And actually, let's declare it a summer of pride.
Okay, now let's watch Joy Reid gaslight you.
Right. Donald Trump's depth on issues is not very deep. It's Fox deep. It's what he sees on Fox, what looks good to him, what sounds good to him. And for a lot of his base, the information that they take in comes from social media, from places like InfoWars, as does Tulsi Gabbard, right? And, Pete Hegseth's ideas are more shaped in his social world, that the world of where he's thinking about kind of the ideas of the way he wants society to be.
They're just based in the world. They're just based in the world, and they're based on fact, and they're based on policy, and they're based in the concerns and interests to help the American people. And that's why we voted for Trump. Again, I mean, I could say this over and over, but it's just too funny to watch them. It's sort of sad, really. Do you think Joy will ever get over her Trump derangement syndrome? Meanwhile, the current administration still hasn't helped a lot of people after the aftermath in North Carolina. People are still waiting. So what is this administration that's not even in place doing? They're trying to help. They've been trying to help since day one. They have been helping since day one, getting Starlink in there, getting resources to these people. I mean, it's really sad that our government is paying other countries millions of dollars and people coming in thousands and thousands of dollars to live for free. Meanwhile, our American citizens, and that includes immigrants that have come here legally, right? It's a melting pot. We already know that. You're smart, you're intelligent, you know that. I don't have to explain that to you, but I just did, so whatever. In any case, JD Vance is in North Carolina trying to help, trying to remedy situations, trying to get, not just trying, but actually doing it as much as they can without being in political power right now. And meanwhile, of course, the press still wants to ask questions about Hegseth. But watch JD Vance answer this one question about Hegseth. I think it's pretty funny, and it's a little bit noisy audio, so forgive that, but take a look at this.
This morning, have you talked to Senator Harris, and has she addressed any concerns with you? You and Trump both posted full support. I'd love to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so look, guys, we're here to survey damage and provide support to the people of Western North Carolina, and make it clear that their government, and in particular our administration, is not going to forget them. And that's why we're here. I'll answer one question about Pete Hegseth because I know that's what people are focused on. Look, importantly, Pete Hegseth is going to get his appearing before the Senate Armed Services Committee, not a sham hearing before the American media. We believe that Pete Hegseth is the right guy to lead the Department of Defense. That's why President Trump nominated him. We're not abandoning
this. Not a sham hearing in front of Joy Reid. I mean, I think MSNBC thinks that they're the ones who should appoint everybody, and it should all be off DEI, and it all should be off shame, and it all should be all based on racism and misogyny. But no, Joy, we're actually voting for people who can get things done, who can actually help people of all color. And we don't just go for the DEI hires. We go for people who are good for the job, no matter what they look like. But Joy Reid doesn't ever get that. I don't think she ever will. But let's check in with Katie Phang, even though she's already taught us so much, right? She's already taught us that billionaire begins with a B. Remember that. That's the word for the day, billionaire. And ladies and gentlemen, billionaire begins with B. That's how stupid Katie Phang thinks that we are. It is hysterical, but let's just watch her. It's fun.
The wealthiest cabinet in history, raising new concerns about whether they're going to work for the American people or for their own bottom lines. And now new reporting on the money that Elon Musk, the world's richest man, spent in order to get Trump elected. The New York Times reporting that Musk spent roughly $250 million in just the final months of the race, which mainly went to his super PAC and other various funds, including his $1 million lottery scheme. A good businessman, Musk probably expected a decent return on his investment, and he's definitely getting it.
He's definitely getting it, all right? The stocks are doing better. Already, people are feeling more peace. I've been talking to people. I'm in the world, Katie Phang. I know that you're, I don't know, just behind the TV all the time, that you don't understand this, but it's already becoming better. People are beginning to exhale. No, people can't afford groceries anymore. And it's singing the song of all I want for Christmas is paper towels has a different ring to it, Katie Phang. But we know that the promise of America still exists. And the promise of the American dream still exists because we elected Donald Trump. Thank God. I'm so smart. I'm so smart. You're so smart. We are so smart. I'm so glad is what I was going to say. I'm so glad that the American people are so smart that voted for common sense politics. Because yes, we want strong, successful people helping us. Katie, hello. What is wrong? You should want that too. It's nuts that these people want incompetent people in office. I don't understand why they want to keep voting for incompetency. I guess it doesn't affect them at all. I mean, are they that wealthy? It's absolutely mind-boggling how much they want to continue to vote for the demise of America. Do they just hate America? They don't want us to be successful. I just absolutely don't understand why it's a problem that he's picking strong, successful people. But it's hilarious to see them just spinning out over the fact that that's what's happening. It's absolutely nuts.
Musk's stake in SpaceX has grown by $60 billion in value since.
I got it. I think what it is they're mad because actually, by the way, the most elite people in the world, besides Elon Musk, and of course we do have some people that are supporting Trump that have a lot of money, but by and large, the wealthy party are the Democrats. And everybody woke up to that this election. And a lot of the corruption comes from the Democrats. Why is Ellen DeGeneres suddenly fled the country? I mean, she says it's because Trump won, but is it really? Or is it the Diddy files? So much corruption is coming out now, and we're seeing it in real time. And instead of just saving face, they're doubling down on the rhetoric. They're doubling down on the gaslighting. It is absolutely mind-boggling that these people do not want strong, successful people. They don't want the markets to do well. They don't want us to have innovation. They don't want us to have super geniuses in our realm at all. I guess they just are mad because Oprah spent all this money on the campaign and Kamala bottomed out. Because what happened to that? She raised the most money in campaign history. Where is that going now? Now they're like, oh, wait. No. Trump raised a lot of money and he won. Oh, gosh, we raised a lot of money and lost it. We lost it for the people who couldn't afford bread, and they donated to Kamala and then they lost, and they have no explanation for it. So now they're just going to attack the fact that the successful party won and that successful people actually have the heart to help regular everyday Americans like myself, maybe like you. They can't handle that. In a bit, you'll see Katie Phang thinks that $200,000 is like poverty. Katie, you have no idea how we've been living the last 4 years, clearly.
Reporting on the money that Elon Musk, the world's richest man, spent in order to get Trump elected. The New York Times reporting that Musk spent roughly $250 million in just the final months of the race, which mainly went to his super PAC and other various funds, including his $1 million lottery scheme.
Okay, it wasn't a lottery scheme, and they've already debunked that. Fact check, Katie Phang. That was actually totally legitimate. Even Mark Cuban, who hates Trump and hates the whole team and everybody, he admitted that that was actually a really smart idea, and he even investigated. And I don't think Mark Cuban is Mr. Smarty Pants by any means. I think he's one of the lucky ones who've just gotten lucky. But nonetheless, he even said that it wasn't illegal. Nothing he did was illegal. So it wasn't some lottery scheme. It was just genius marketing. Now, I think that they're mad because they instead of paying campaign contributions to actually helping Americans. Instead, Kamala just paid Oprah and team, and that money went nowhere. It went absolutely nowhere. And now they've lost it. So I think that's what they're really upset about. You let me know what you think, but watch this.
Like any good businessman, Musk probably expected a decent return on his investment, and he's definitely getting it. Musk's stake in SpaceX has grown by $60 billion in value since the election. It's now the most valuable defense contractor in the country. Musk was given a role outside, and I'll put that in quotes, of the government with this so-called Doge or Doge panel. But inside the government, Trump is looking to add at least 10 billionaires to his administration. If you combine the net worth of all of Trump's picks, including Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they would be worth more than the GDP of hundreds of countries. With all of this newfound power, Republicans and the ultra-wealthy are now looking at cutting the social safety net, which at least 70 million Americans rely on in some form.
Okay, now that's just a flat-out lie. Trump has said many times that he's not touching Social Security. He's not touching Medicaid. What he's going to do is trim the fat off all the wasteful spending, Katie. You don't understand. There has been trillions of dollars wasted on nothing, We spend more than any other country on education, and we're failing. I just pulled my daughter from the public school system because it's failing, and it was harming my daughter for many reasons. That's another video. I've mentioned it a little bit before, but I'll go more in depth in another time. But nonetheless, that federal money has been corrupt in every agency in the federal government, whether it's education or our defense or anything. I mean, we gave away military equipment. I mean, this is just insane that she doesn't want to cut spending in this way. But no, he's not cutting on Medicaid. He's cutting and not cutting on Social Security. He's actually going to stop Social Security recipients from having to pay taxes, which they never should have paid taxes on Social Security anyway. You pay into that your entire life. I even saw a post on Nextdoor and people were spinning out because, of course, I'm in the radical left lunacy of Denver, Colorado, and most people voted for Kamala. And so they're believing all these lies that Katie Phang and camp are telling people. No, Katie, Trump has never said that. As a matter of fact, let's listen to Trump himself on this.
And spending.
We're talking
You
about
won't touch
theft,
Medicare, Social Security.
Abuse, fraud.
Okay.
No, I said to people, we're not touching Social Security, other than we might make it more efficient, but the people are going to get what they're getting.
Okay.
And we're not raising ages or any of that stuff.
Okay, off the
I
table.
won't do it.
You've tapped Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, to head up this Department of Government Efficiency,
Correct.
which proposes cuts to the federal government. I think a lot of people hear that and they get concerned about Medicare and Social Security and
Not going to have
Medicaid
anything to do.
and
We're talking
defense
about-
spending.
We're talking
You
about
won't touch
theft,
Medicare, Social Security.
Abuse, fraud.
Okay.
No, I said to people, we're not touching Social Security, other than we might make it more efficient, but the people are going to get what they're getting.
Okay.
And we're not raising ages or any of that stuff.
Okay, off the
Okay,
table.
so that was in his latest interview, right? And he said this time and time again. This is why we know Katie Phang and camp and all the MSNBC spinner outers, they don't watch him. They don't listen. They do not listen to facts. Joy Reid has no idea. He has said this time and time again. If you watch anything, as you and I both know, he has said he's going to make it more efficient. He's only going to eliminate the fraud, the corruption, the theft. They should all be for that, unless they're the fraudsters, right? See how the left constantly spins saying they're going to cut Medicaid, they're going to cut Medicare, they're going to cut Social Security. No, he's never said that. He's going to cut the inefficiency off. We should all be for that because you'll end up making more. This is how we stimulate the economy, by cutting off all that excess spending. Biden just went and gave a bunch more money to other countries. Meanwhile, North Carolinians are suffering. You and I are suffering. People are dying of fentanyl in the street. I mean, give me a break. This is insanity.
Champion, if you will, for the working class. But now he and his billionaire buddies are looking to cut taxes for themselves and to slash the safety net for everyone else. Looks like bucks for me, but not for thee.
Oh, Katie, that was such a cute poem. Is that going in your book of poetry for this Christmas? Or you probably hate Christmas. But nonetheless, that's a wonderful poem she just wrote for you. Katie, it's going to help all of us. And the thing is, there is corruption. There is corruption in the government. We should all want to stop the corruption. We should all want to stop the corruption in the big monopolies of corporations, but not just attacking rich people. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, rich people actually employ a lot of people. Do you know how many people Trump employs? This helps everybody when you don't attack the wealthiest people. It's absolutely nuts that they wanted to harm the wealthiest people in America, because then they would just lay off a bunch of people. Thank God Trump won. He cannot get into office fast enough. But let's watch them spin out more about the lies that they tell.
Look, we're going to have billionaires running the government while Republicans look to slash the social safety net. This ain't any kind of populism I've ever read.
Like, there's clearly a lot of plans here to cut the federal government off at the knees. But remember, Trump was elected because he said that he was going to make things less expensive.
And he will.
Teddy, you know Elon Musk, but you also know the billionaire class pretty well. Have you ever seen spending at this magnitude from one person in an election cycle?
Watch, he doesn't want to say it, but he's like, well, yeah, just a minute ago when Kamala ran, and Oprah and Cardi B and Beyonce and everybody was coming on board, and then the American people were donating, and Kamala even said they raised 1.4 billion. That's with a B, Katie. So no, this guy totally knows all about it. It's not unusual for people like Oprah and all the people to come on board. What's unusual is that the American people this time won against the corruption. That's what's unusual. That's what they can't believe. But let's watch them all, because it's so funny that they have the exact same smug look on their face, and they just can't believe that billionaires with a B would care about people who aren't billionaires. What a crazy idea.
I mean, look, not the first time that someone's going to put a lot of zeros at the end of a check here. I think what was striking about Musk's involvement this cycle was just how kind of hot and fast this came. This is not somebody who has donated a lot of money to Republican politics in the past.
But see, what they have a problem with is that Musk has never been involved, but it got so bad that Elon Musk had to get involved. It got so bad that Elon Musk, who didn't even really, like he says, was lukewarm towards Trump, was like, wait a minute, this guy is going to help America. And just like he said, it's not like they've been best buddies forever. They just became friends, acquaintances this year. That should tell you guys a lot about the state of the American economy, that it got so bad that Elon Musk was like, you know what? Enough is enough. You guys tried to KILL this man. This has gone way overboard, or somebody did, right? Allegedly, somebody. We know that's a fact. And they all laughed about it. And they were like, oh, sorry, I didn't miss. I mean, they would have had a lot more credibility if they at least just reported on that factually and with some compassion, but they didn't. And so it does bear to raise the question of why. But let's listen on.
I think what was new was you had somebody who at the beginning of this year, based on our report, was very lukewarm about Donald Trump, who was, didn't like Joe Biden, to be sure, but suddenly, putting in $270 million is what the final bill ended up being for Musk. That money came really late, really fast, and now, he's basically kind of helping oversee this presidential transition in a way that you would think that Elon and Donald Trump have been best friends for years. Really, they just got to know each other this year.
So, Teddy, what's the larger impact, though, of billionaires collectively having this much of an impact on democracy and the outcome of elections?
I'll tell you what, Katie, what the impact is that we all win. We all win when billionaires actually care about us. We all win when democracy, that you guys love to call democracy, it actually works, that the voting system actually works, that it was too big to rig. But that's what they can't stand. They can't stand that their cheating did not work this time. Now, I think he actually has some smarts about him. I mean, watch him. I think that he actually is kind of like, I'm on the wrong team here, I think, because Elon Musk is very smart and his techie friends are actually geniuses. And the fact that they're all going towards Trump kind of makes me question why I'm on this panel. That's the vibe I'm getting from him. But watch this and you let me know.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think the outcome is what we're seeing happen right now. Right now, the Trump transition headquarters over the last couple of weeks, it hasn't just been Elon Musk who's been playing this big role in the transition, you know, steering, picking other billionaires at times for those gigs. All of Musk's friends are very involved in this transition. You know, the payoff, so to speak, is the access, the influence. You know, like, I don't believe that Elon Musk got involved in this presidential election because of that. You know, when you talk to Elon and his friends, he genuinely believes that American democracy was at stake. He's obviously very concerned about immigration, about crime. But it is also true that the payoff is extraordinary. And Musk, you know, you point out his net worth going way up. The reason why it's going way up is because people think that Tesla and SpaceX and XAI, his artificial intelligence company, are going to be heavily advantaged by their relationship to Trump, and they probably will be.
Yeah, and so will farmers and ranchers and everyday people and moms like me, because we're not going to be threatened to go to jail if we bring our kid to school late. I mean, it's amazing how these people love to support the criminals, but not Americans. They love to support illegal immigration and not think any of those people could be criminals, harming children and harming women and harming people. No, their biggest problem is the fact that they love abortion and they hate Americans. I mean, I don't understand why these things would be bad. Why not ask yourself, why are these stocks doing better suddenly because Trump won? Why do people have more confidence in investing under a Trump administration? Why do you think everything is going to work better under a Trump administration? Why? Well, we know why, right? But these are questions that they don't want to ask. They just don't. I think he does, though. I think he does, but he doesn't want to admit it. What do you think?
It's not going to benefit the bottom line of the American citizens.
Not true, Katie. It's actually going to benefit all of us because, see, when America does well, all of us succeed. When we're to have food on our table, we all succeed, Katie. I know that you're so disconnected from this, Katie Phang, but that's why people voted. That's why those stocks have gone up. That's why Elon Musk's billionaire friends want to help and support. None of these people need to. You should ask yourself that, Katie and MSNBC gang. You should ask yourself why they want to do it. And they always go for clout, for access. These people already had clout. They already had access. They don't need any more. They're doing fine. They're doing it because they actually do care. This is something that they will never understand because I don't think they actually have empathy.
Median net worth of an American family is $192,900, according to the Federal Reserve back in 2023. That's definitely not billionaire status.
I love how she made that like a negative thing. Can you believe 192,000? You know what, Katie? A lot of us would be very happy with 192,000 a year. And that's why, again, we voted for Donald Trump because a lot of us aren't even making that. And you're baffled that that's the median income. That's the problem. The median income is actually a very well living, and $192,000 is barely even cutting it nowadays under this economy. This is how disconnected these people are. They're like, oh my gosh, $192,000? That's nothing. That's what I made in the first 5 minutes of this broadcast. Well, if you keep this up, I don't know that you will, because we already know that your ratings are going down the tube. So I know Oprah, or not Oprah, well, Oprah, but Whoopi and all these people, they make so much money per episode. But you know what? For the rest of us working Americans, $192,000 a year is good money, but not under this economy. That's like a loaf of bread. That's the problem. That's the problem, MSNBC. Hello. So I guess she thinks it's not supposed to go where we can all afford to live anymore. I mean, they can't believe, again, that they lost. Their Trump derangement syndrome is just through the roof. They really are for corruption, I believe. But let's listen just a little more. I'm sorry I keep interrupting, but I can't handle it. The way that they think is so disconnected. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
4 years of Trump's billionaire buddies feeding at the trough?
No, it's not going to be 4 years of billionaire buddies feeding at the trough, Katie. It's going to be all of us able to eat. And then hopefully, yeah, we're going to even make up to $192,000, which to you is poverty or more, right? That's the American dream. And that's what we're bringing back. God bless America. We're all going to be able to eat again. Make food affordable again.
And, he believes that he can cut $2 trillion from the federal budget, which obviously is difficult. But, look, he has the energy of a rookie here, right? And that's good and bad, right? I mean, there is ambition, that's for sure. He has lots of bright people from the tech industry who want to get involved. And when you talk with kind of Musk allies, they love to pepper in references to, the best and the brightest. And
again, this is something that they should be totally for. I love Katie's expressions and that. I used one of them in the thumbnail because it was hysterical. But yeah, we need to cut trillions of dollars of wasteful spending. We need to help the resource providers actually provide the resources that are right underneath our feet, quite literally, including the liquid gold that Trump talks about. See, he knows actually how to stimulate the economy again. I'm so, so grateful. But they're so funny because he says, this rookie attitude, and he's got ambition and he's got energy. These things are bad. He's smart. He's innovative. I mean, what are we thinking when we've been going with drunky Kamala and all the gaslighters? I mean, go with innovators and smart thinkers and some of the super geniuses of the world. And can you believe they're actually really successful? Billionaires with a B, billionaire. Yeah, we can believe that because this is what we've been dealing with people who aren't rookies, who don't have the ambition, who don't have the drive. This is exactly what we've been dealing with. Sleepy Joe. Right now, he's taking a nap. Look at him. This is an embarrassment. So when Trump has nicknames for people, they have a lot of truth in them. When he calls them Sleepy Joe, this is why. This is the leader right now. And you don't think that he's inefficient with government spending? He's inefficient with taking a meeting with world leaders. This is horrifying. Watch this.
Aiming at aligning this project with national priorities and other bilateral and regional commitments. In closing, allow me to reiterate Tanzania's commitment to regional integration and shared.
I can't take it. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's what they wanted more of. That's what they wanted more of. Him and drunky Kamala. Insane.
And maybe I'm not trying to be overly cynical here, but politics is hard, right? Just because you have created a lot of value in the startup world or in manufacturing or in electric vehicles does not mean that it is easy to, help find trillions of dollars in federal savings. And what exactly Musk is going to be pushing for and what these other wealth people are going to be pushing for might be pretty idiosyncratic.
And that's exactly what we need. We need individualistic thinking. We need somebody who knows how to build a huge business. We need innovators. But these guys, they don't like that. They don't want that. Of course, that's what it means. If you can build rocket ships and be the richest man in the world, I think that you might know a thing or two about how to shave off inefficient spending. What do you think?
That billionaire class is sitting there understanding that these people understand what hardship means in order to ensure long-term prosperity. Musk talk about cutting waste. Teddy mentioned that, how much they want to cut. Cutting waste in the government, but how it would actually lead to hardship. Take a listen.
We have to reduce spending to live within our means. That necessarily involves some temporary hardship, but it will ensure long-term prosperity.
Yes. Temporary hardship, meaning it's going to be hard to tell all these immigrants that, no, we can't give you $20,000 on your EBT card and free hotels anymore. We can't do that. I'm sorry. Right now, we got to take care of our own family, which is the United States of America and its citizens. I'm sorry that we can't help all these other countries right now. That's the hardship that Elon's talking about. It's hard to turn people away when they need help. But when you have nothing to give, you have nothing to give. We're giving from a deficit right now. So that's going to be a little hard because we all do have compassion, but we've got to take care of the people that were here legally and that are here legally. We've got to take care of those people. What about the immigrants that have come here legally and have been doing the right thing. They're being stolen from. And that whole like EBT thing of like getting 20 grand on a card, that is actual fact. You will get more money as an immigrant coming to the United States than a struggling American citizen, unless you're a drug addict. If you're a drug addict, then full ride. You can get housing, and you know, all the people who own the houses make a ton of money off that too. I mean, I knew a guy who was running homes and he was like, I don't really care about helping people, but I love the money. I was like, really? And that's how these people think. I mean, we cannot keep giving from a deficit. We need to start giving to the American people. And that's going to be hard for a minute, but for long-term prosperity so that we can help ourselves, that in turn will end up enabling us to be able to help other countries again. But right now we in trouble. We in trouble because Mamala and Sleepy Joe has gotten us into a really big problem, but we're going to get out of it. It's going to be okay.
This Trump cabinet is at least, and that's, I'm going to underscore, at least $10 billion. I really don't think anybody that's not a part of that billionaire class is sitting there understanding that these people understand what hardship means in order to ensure long-term prosperity.
Yes, Katie, we do understand. I know you think that we're idiots, but we actually do understand, and we're grateful. Thank God for President Trump. Thank God for his amazing cabinet, stellar picks. I hope they all get sworn in because this is historical. This is one of the best teams I have ever seen in politics or otherwise. And thank God they're on our side. They're not just this strong team that wants to tear us all down. They're a strong team that wants to build us up. And it's going to help us. And yes, Katie, we do understand. We do.
Yeah, it's just wild. And the other thing I think it's important to realize is this is all so that they can protect the Trump tax cuts, right? Because the Trump tax cuts will expire in 2025. So this is not even like the idea that this has to happen, that they have to cut these things. No, they can just, the tax cuts can expire. We can raise taxes on the wealthiest people, which is what the Harris world wanted to do before.
And that's exactly why the Harris world lost. That's why the Harris world is spinning out. That's why the Harris world is calling us names that aren't true, like racist and misogynist and sexist. That's why the Harris world is trying to incriminate their political opponent, because what they wanted to do is punish people who build jobs. They wanted to punish the people who are employing people. And that doesn't work. That doesn't stimulate the economy for many reasons. We just saw it for 4 years. People are literally ODing on the street under this administration. I can't believe that people wanted to vote for 4 more years of that. But thank God, I got to calm down because Donald Trump is coming into office. He can't come in soon enough, I don't think. But they're already putting so many things in place. I hope that all of his cabinet gets sworn in. I really do.
They're not going to raise taxes. Actually, they're going to cut these programs, these social programs, so that they can have lower taxes. I mean, I don't know how they sell this to the American people.
Too late. They already sold it to the American people because we saw through your lies and BS. No, they're not going to cut the programs that are helping us. He said that 1,000 times. We've already gone over that, so I'm not going to go over it again. But he's not cutting the programs. He's cutting off the fat of the corruption. He's cutting off the theft. Everybody should be for that. But apparently these people aren't. I don't know if they're just in Nancy Pelosi's insider trading or what's going on. I'm really excited that the American dream hesitated, I will say. I don't think it's alive and well quite yet. But let me know, do you think that the American dream is alive and well? Do you think that you're feeling more peace since the election, since Trump was elected? And do you agree that they're just going to spin out now on the fact that these are successful people? Is that really what they're upset about? Are they upset that they have money and they're successful? Are they upset because we all have a chance to succeed and not just the MSNBC people? Are they upset because their ratings are low? Let me know in the comments. And if you found value in this video, please do subscribe. It helps people like me a whole lot. It helps people like you a whole lot because voices like ours are heard. And if you want to know what they're spinning out about now, watch this video or this one. The mic is bouncing here, but look at how talented I am. Bam. You have choices.